Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, and that means it's time for the Wrestling Inc. SmackDown after show. And have we got a show for you? Roman Reigns is talking about leaving bodies in the desert. We've got a hair whip by Bianca Belair and the return of B-Fab. But before we get into all of that, allow me to introduce the panel. I'm Jack Farmer, being joined by none other than Flagler University's own Flobo Boyce.
It's
Flobo,
true.
how are you, pal?
Well, you're not Glenn. You're at Easter. You're the Jack Farmer. It's like Monday night has crossed over. Like I told you before, you're the Michael Cole of Wrestling Inc. So I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Oh, well, that is very flattering because Michael Cole is really one of the best. I'm glad to be here with you on a Friday. Some of us still work Fridays, Flobo. I guess it's just you and I this time around. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe. You know, this was such a thrown together situation, Flobo. We don't even have nameplates.
Yeah, that's coming soon. But I'm Flobo, and I could be Jack too if it gets me more engagement.
Yeah,
both. You could be.
Yeah, usually we got a little thing on the bottom here, but they just said, you know what, these two jokers don't need any professionalism, so whatever. But thank you guys. Share this, by the way, with all your friends, all this professionalism. But let's get into some news. We got some big news items. The first one is we got details on Ric Flair's AEW contract. Now, this got a lot more traction on social media than I thought it would when Ric Flair first came out on AEW TV. I thought it was a fun little thing they did. I was like, okay, Ric Flair's here.
Right.
Quite the response on Twitter about it. A lot of opinions. But that said, it sounds like it's not just the signing of Ric Flair, but also the signing of Woo Energy Drink as the official drink of AEW. This is kind of reminding me, Flobo, of back when Macho Man signed with WCW and brought along with him Slim Jim.
No, Slim Jim is goated. I love Slim Jim, but energy drinks and wrestling never seem to work out for me. Like I remember when Bianca was doing the whole C4 thing. You remember X-Pac with the Hands Energy? He'll come out drinking it to the ring and they'll get super kicked his head off. It was kind of weird, but that's besides the point. Now, Ric Flair is somebody who's a legend. There's nothing that hasn't been said about the Nature Boy before, but I didn't expect to see him in AEW. I thought he's going to be pretty much content of doing his own commercials, popping in for a match every year or two, retiring every year. But now he has signed a multiple-year deal with AEW. This is huge.
It's I think it's a great thing for AEW because AEW is definitely at a spot where it still doesn't hurt to build credibility for them, and it still doesn't hurt to have legends of the industry sort of endorse them by being on the program. So I thought this was great. I don't think that he's going to necessarily take up a whole bunch of time. We probably won't actually see Ric Flair all that much on AEW, I'm guessing. Famous last words. This might be one of those things that gets clipped out and haunts me for the next 5 years. But I got a feeling it was just a feel-good moment for Sting, and we're going to move on. And this is mostly about AEW and Woo Energy and then maybe a few appearances, maybe a few things where he says Woo, announces a match, something like that, of that nature.
What if he doesn't get a match? What if Ric Flair does get in the ring? Will you buy a ticket? Would it headline an AEW pay-per-view?
Would he headline a pay-per-view? No.
I'm saying, yeah, would you headline it? Ric Flair returns to the ring one last time at All Sideways. I don't know.
All Sideways.
I have no idea what they're called.
What
would be a fake AEW pay-per-view name? You know what I mean? Like, what would be one that's like sounds adjacent but not really?
Partly geared.
Yeah, partly geared. Quarter turn. Yeah.
some gear optional.
Yeah, gear optional.
So that's fun. This is something we didn't prep for, and I'm going to throw this at you. By the way, shout out Majestic Murray. Always good to see you. Shout out to everyone in the chat, by the way. Wow. I said on Twitter, if you guys did not see on Twitter, I'm going to be commenting on a lot of these today, whether or not there is a super chat. So even if you're not super chatting, you may get your name thrown out there. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, let us know. Majestic Marie, friend of the show, says, in regards to Ric Flair, I hope not. I don't want Where Were You When Flair Died in the Ring to become a thing. I think the one thing about that, Majestic Marie, is Ric Flair's never going to die. He's going to outlive all of us. Come on now.
He's not Shamu. You can pass the name down to somebody else.
I mean, That dude, I think, is him and Vince McMahon are going to be standing long after the Earth has come to an end. I think.
Oh yeah, I bet that. Yeah, revolution's over.
The world will be over, and it'll be Ric Flair and Vince McMahon, and they'll sit down on a rock overlooking a valley.
Woo, pal!
What a journey it was.
The title.
We got Joe C lurking, by the way. Shout out to all the lurkers out there, the people who Flobo. I like to shout out the lurkers, the people who watch along, but they don't necessarily actively engage in the chat. If you're a lurker, what's up? Always great to see you guys and see that you're hanging out here. So we got by the way, just before I move into the next thing, Mr. X saying, who is your favorite AEW wrestler? Jack Farmer. Right now, my favorite's got to be Swerve. I mean, I know that's not the most original answer, but right now, Swerve is
biased.
Killing it right now. And of course, he's a Tacoma fella like me. We're both Tacoma boys.
The bias is just dripping through the SmackDown after show.
The bummer is I think my second favorite is Adam Page. So I hate that they're fighting. I want to just hug it out, Flobo.
You hate when your friends fight? I know the feeling, man. Just sit down and talk it out, fellas.
So I'm going to throw you under the bus, Flobo.
You always do that. Let's hit
everyone in the chat, if you're ready for me to throw Flobo under the bus, let me hear you.
Hey.
And I'm going to throw Wrestling Inc. under the bus. I was looking for news today, and I saw they got an article here, and it's the Wrestling Inc. Prestige rankings, the top 25 wrestlers. What is it? Let me see what they have here. The top 25 in the pro wrestling conversation. Now, I have to bring this up, and everyone in the chat, let me know who you think number one is going to be in the pro wrestling conversation. Let me know your top three.
Wait, so don't look at the list.
Don't look at the list. I'm going to tell you, and I want to know your thoughts. It says to clarify, these rankings are based on data, not anyone's opinion. Anyone still here for a dose of confirmation bias to see where your favorite performers are, only to be outraged, need to understand that we are presenting the movers and the shakers based on their involvement in the greater wrestling conversation as demonstrated by wrestling fans all over the world.
Data. This is like when WWE had their own power rankings and said the Academy of Wrestling Arts and Sciences, which was so ridiculous. I actually used that for a bit for like 3 years.
You still do.
I still do.
I didn't know it was a bit.
It totally was. Yeah.
So, look, Wrestling Inc., you're my boss. I'm gonna get in trouble. The overlords. But they have listed. They have listed number one, Roman Reigns. I think
still. He doesn't come to work half the time. Shout out to Issa, by the way, but he doesn't come to work half the time. Number one.
Number two is John Cena. Number three is Logan Paul.
I hate lists.
You ready to throw your hands up? Number four is CM Punk.
Wow.
And number five is Rey Mysterio.
What data is Wrestling Inc. using? Can someone help me out with
this? That's my question to everyone is because it doesn't actually say, it just says there's data, and I'm very curious to see where this is. Because CM Punk not even signed to a wrestling company as far as I know.
I guess it's on impressions on X. That's the only way I can actually see that actually being anywhere close to being the rankings. If you're going by strictly like mentions on social media, because John Cena is on a Summer of Cena thing until the writer strike ends or actor strike ends. Roman Reigns comes to work half the time. CM Punk is somewhere. He's in the clouds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very interesting. We got Roman Reigns, Lego Brick Collector said number one. Mr. X says Cody number one in WWE. Samantha throwing out Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Bret Hart. Lego Brick Collector with the real question here. Where's Tozawa on the list? This is Flobo. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to the Wrestling Inc. overlords and ask why Akira Tozawa is not on this list.
Really? That's going to be all the questions that have arisen in the last minute and a half. You're going to ask where's Akira Tozawa on this list?
Exactly.
No one's ready for Tozawa. Look, you're the only person who cares about the guy. Besides people that live in a haunted house. And apparently Lego Brick Collector.
Listen, Lego Brick Collector knows exactly what they're talking about. Good friend of the show, Lego Brick Collector. We also got Stalking You with the dog emoji. Always happy to see Stalking You with the dog emoji. We gotta talk about this wrestling show we just watched, Flobo, this SmackDown. Before we do, as always, I like to let everyone know that we definitely appreciate it if you like, comment, share, subscribe, copy the link, throw it into social media, let everyone know you're watching, and leave a 5-star review while you're at it on Apple. That's always super helpful. Leave a little comment in there. In fact, while you're there, Flobo, we don't get to work together very often. Why don't you guys take over social media, take over the reviews, and just talk about how much you love seeing Jack Farmer, Flobo Boyce on a Friday night?
We work together all the time, but we're not going to talk about that due to contract disputes. But yes, please, 5 stars on all platforms of Experience the Podcast. Even the lurkers out there, we know you guys can put 5 stars up and give a chance to it. So please do.
Absolutely. Whether it's Mr. X, Casey J, we got Lego Brick Collector, we got beer. Money. You're supposed to say money. Come on.
I know it was me.
I think you, Majestic Marie, Alicia A, everyone else. We always work together. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this this pro wrestling show we watched together. We didn't watch it together, but we watched it at the same time, and now we're talking about it.
Really? Who holds my hand then?
LA Knight comes out and says that it is a hostile takeover that he's doing. Yeah. Then Reigns says he expects someone to step up whenever he takes time away, but he never expected it to be LA Knight. But Reigns says he's going to leave LA Knight in the desert, and Knight says the only bloodline that'll be left is the one running down Roman's face. Flobo, I thought this was a slam dunk go home show, pre-taped promo. I for what we were watching, I guess I want your thoughts on this, and let's just acknowledge the fact that this was a pre-taped go home show. So there's clearly expectations that need to be adjusted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the red flag there, they didn't do like we're coming to you live from Milwaukee again, like the little graphic they do or so on. I thought it was a cool complimentary piece of last week, right? You had Roman Reigns interrupt LA Knight. I thought Roman had the upper hand in this one, but I am hyped for the show. You really can't sell it anymore. Here's a guy in Reigns' case that has a title. He sells himself. He's kind of like a force of nature because he's never there often enough. LA Knight, the last organic swell for a superstar since Kofi Mania, and then Daniel Bryan before him. So you can't sell this anymore. The fact they're able to do that back to back in the same crowd and have them engaged says a lot about these two guys, and maybe much to Issa's chagrin, we may have a new champion come Saturday night.
Yeah. Mr. X says, I don't believe LA will win, but I do believe he will get cheated like most of Roman's wins. Flobo, I think the general consensus going into Crown Jewel is that LA Knight isn't going to win. Really? I think a lot of people feel that way. So, but my question to you is, has WWE, has LA Knight, has this program done enough to at least give you a little bit of the maybe? Have they done enough to make you at least feel like this is worth our time, if that makes sense? Even if you completely believe Roman Reigns is going to win, did they give you just enough to want to buy in?
That's a good question, because if you take just the storyline, I'm going to say yes. You have him do the blunt force trauma. You have him do all the promos. You gave him the backstage. My life was hard, but now I wrestle storyline. They've done absolutely everything. I think the problem with most wrestling fans now is that we're just kind of hardwired to WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, these big events, and you're thinking, oh, he has to lose the title then or there. And so there is that balance of predictability versus making sure the title change doesn't happen on a random SmackDown, especially after so many years of being a champion. So it's no, but not for WWE's lack of trying.
So something that Roman Reigns did is he acknowledged the cinema memes and the vernacular of Twitter, or X as we call it these days, and how everyone keeps calling it cinema. Do you like that he's acknowledging what's going on Twitter? Because the narrative has always been no one's watching Twitter, no one cares about what the internet wrestling community is talking about. But here, Roman Reigns is clearly acknowledging it, quoting it. Do you like that he's sort of interacting with the conversation, or do you think he should be above that?
Personally, no. If you want to make sure that this, if I'm a character person, which I am when it comes to wrestling, I want to feel everyone have their stuff happen inside the world. But the way to get over nowadays is to reference the social media. So there's certain people go, oh my gosh, he's so funny. He's a good heel. I love being engaged with. So like Roman Reigns is not wrong. I think it cheapens the moment. If he does it once, I can live with it. So hope it doesn't become like a meta character, because you only get one a roster, and we'll get to who that is later on the show.
Yes, we will. Majestic Marie says, It's worth the time. Even if LA Knight loses, he'll still look good, and the match will be fun too. Leo Bowden, I haven't seen you around in a while. Leo says Knight is believable on the mic for sure. So good stuff there. Now, later on in the night, Paul Heyman talks to Nick Aldis and tells Nick Aldis to have medical staff ready because he's been around a lot of folks in his 30 years in pro wrestling, and he's never seen one quite like Roman Reigns going into Crown Jewel. Tell me a bit about, do you think that this is leading to something? Do you think that means we're going to get some kind of super violent end to the match? Or do you think this was just a throw-in conversation? Or, and this is the third thing, that this is kind of what I want to get to, does it feel a little bit like they're positioning Nick Aldis to maybe step in the ring down the road?
Oh, absolutely, with Nick Aldis stepping in the ring. But I think Paul Heyman just really wanted to comment on how cool Nick Aldis' suit was. But he was kind of awkward. He was like, Roman Reigns is going to be my guy later on. But like, I think that Paul Heyman's been doing that forever. I think I put a little icing on the cake. It was unnecessary to do that because why'd you have to hype up your guy who's already hyped? But it's Paul Heyman. He's a wise man for a reason, exerting his dominance. So yes, I hope there is some fallout for Nick Aldis to get in the WWE ring. I'm not sure it's going to happen this weekend or with LA Knight situation, but definitely the seeds have been planted.
Would you like to see Nick Aldis in the ring?
Sure. Only because I want to see how he's presented, right? Like, if you're I'm talking to the choir here because you literally wrote an article about this years ago about how Nick Aldis, as when he was AEW champion, was the most important champion in all professional wrestling.
Most valuable.
I apologize, but yes, 10 pounds of gold, and it was on a brand that was really banking on tradition. WWE wants to be a bit more modern brand, even though sometimes it's to its own detriment. How does Nick Aldis look as presented? How does he flow with the roster? That's something I'm curious to see.
Yeah, we got Majestic Marie mentioning that both Nick Aldis and Scrap Daddy Pierce, former NWA champions, and of course we got MDB999 showing up. Always good to see you. Final question on this. Let's say it happens. Scrap Daddy versus the National Treasure.
Yeah.
Whose side are you on? I'm team Scrap Daddy.
Oh, absolutely. Adam Pearce, not to name drop, taught me how to set up a ring. So I either want to blame him or thank him. Maybe more legit than to think. But yeah, I've known Adam Pearce since 2011, man. I feel like he's part of the family, him and LA Knight. So I hope they win every time.
Yeah, he's part of the David Marquez tree, which is the tree that I am a part of. So I'm team Scrap Daddy. No offense to Nick Aldis, though. Well, speaking of offense, we move on, and Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory happens. This match got set up because last week Kevin Owens punched both Grayson Waller and Austin Theory at the same time, which is my kind of pro wrestling, Flobo.
What is? Backstage punching?
Punching two people at the same time.
Okay.
Austin Theory says he's going to punch Kevin Owens so hard he's going to have to wear a mask. He's not going to have to wear a mask on Halloween. It's a quick, wrestling match. Kevin Owens gets a clean as a whistle win as Grayson Waller is on commentary. You had alluded, I believe, to these two earlier. Let's start with Kevin Owens. He knocked out two guys at once last week. He got a quick win over Austin Theory this week. What do you think they're heating up Kevin Owens for ultimately? Obviously, this is his current quest, but once this is done, do you think it's U.S. title? Do you think they're going to put him back against Roman? Where do you think Kevin Owens is going?
So to answer your first comment, yes, there's only one better person on the roster, and that's Kevin Owens. He is basically Deadpool. He tells you what's going on. The Greek chorus. This is ridiculous. I can't stand this. He keeps everyone grounded. The guy that points to the audience, breaks the fourth wall, and goes, "This is ridiculous." And I look up and down that roster, and I go, "Well, who is like that?" Well, not Pretty Deadly, because Kevin Owens is a single competitor right now. But yes, it's Logan Paul. And I do think that Kevin Owens will be the next challenger for Logan Paul if he will win the United States Championship, which I do think he will, jumping ahead a bit. So I think that's what's being heated up for. And that's how you do it. You take down Austin Theory, who was a former U.S. champion, and the most stupidly named tag teams A-Town Down Under I've ever seen. Grayson Waller's boo-hoo-hoo in the corner. Damage done.
A-Town Down Under is a incredible name, Flobo. How
it's
dare
dumb.
you?
It's dumb.
Yeah, it looks like Lego Brick Collector in the chat agrees with KO versus Logan for the U.S. title. That is kind of tipping our hands to predictions later on, but I think Logan and KO would be a perfect Like that's perfect. That's like a perfect pairing right there.
Absolutely.
So Grayson Waller, I think you're high on. What's going on with Austin Theory here? What are your thoughts on our boy A-Town Down? I know you're a fan because you've met him in person. You guys had a long conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean, Austin Theory is a career wrestler. Wanted to be John Cena when he was a kid. In that case, he always worked out, never got in trouble, never sip a bit of alcohol. Like he was chiseled to be a wrestler. I'm a big fan, but a lot of times wrestlers or a lot of fans look at two wrestlers and go, "Oh, those two should tag together because they have a similar vibe." And I think they either have to be completely different or complementary. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are just too similar. They're young, brash guys. And that's pretty much it. But Grayson has the fact that he's doing the social media thing and he's Australian. So it looks like that Grayson's eating Austin Theory's character lunch. Now, yes, Theory's chiseled from stone. A-Town Live sounds great. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose one or the other, I would choose Grayson over Austin. So I wonder, this should be broken up. For like years ago, I thought that Austin Theory was a golden boy. I thought he was going to be the man. And now he looks like a Genetti.
Ooh, wow. We've talked about this offline before, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the show. I'm a big believer that I think Austin Theory is meant to be a good guy. I think he's meant to be someone, he wanted to be John Cena. That's what he's always wanted to be. I think that is where he needs to be. I think one day we'll look back at this run and be like, yeah, that was his rapping days. That was what he used to be, right. And maybe we'll fondly look back on it in hindsight, but I do think that my hope is that Grayson Waller turns on Austin Theory and then Austin Theory becomes a good guy. And I think once he becomes a good guy, shaves the beard, is what John Cena clone if they want to. Right. I think he'll take off. I think that's where he needs to be because I don't believe whenever he's a jerk, I don't really believe he's being a jerk. I believe he's a guy playing a jerk.
What is he missing though? Like at least John Cena had the Chain Gang, and then he was C Nation, and then he was like hustle, loyalty, respect. But I don't think Austin Theory live without having a live show is going to work. Is it not?
I don't think. Well, the Austin Theory live is just a catchphrase. I think that'll disappear. I don't think he's going to be Austin Theory live forever. As MDB 999 says, Theory is going to start coming out in jean shorts.
Bring it back.
Lego Brick Collector. Austin Theory is a future WWE champion.
I take.
And I haven't even read it, but I'm going to pull it up here anyways. Majestic Marie says, I'm a California girl, saw Austin Theory many times before Georgia girl. I'm sorry, it's very small here. Georgia girl saw Austin Theory many times before he was signed. Got to meet him too. A great talent. I agree. I think he needs to do something different. So I've moved my screens around, so it's very small on this little screen I was looking at here. Yeah, I got a feeling once this guy turns face and once he's the guy battling the bad guys, I think he's gonna take off. I think he's good. I think then he'll be more authentic to who he is, and I think we'll start to connect with him as an audience more. Is my belief.
Just stop with A-Town Down. If you're gonna keep him heel, that name has to change. A-Town Down Under is the most dumbest. Is Atlanta in Australia now? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Then MDB, I don't need glasses.
Jack these glasses.
I had glasses my whole so long. I just had laser surgery like a few years ago.
Yeah, they turn to heal you, bro. You gonna take that?
I know. We got Nick Aldis' arms need a zip code.
Most barrel-chested GM they ever had. He's like, I will sign for that.
He does look like he was about to push Paul Heyman's face with his pet. Right. He was about to say, "Get away from me!" Pap.
I have a way to get to.
Someone's running after him, and he just pops a button off his shirt and like knocks him out. Pat, 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 pat.
SmackDown hazard pay. Yeah. He's doing it again.
Speaking of popping buttons, Bobby Lashley's backstage with the Street Profits. Look at that transition. Bam! Bobby Lashley's chatting up with the Street Profits, and they run into Logan Paul, and they shake hands. They're happy to meet, and Lashley's like, look, that's how you got to be. You got to be like Logan Paul. Take what you want. And that's when B-Fab shows up and says she wants to talk to Bobby Lashley privately. They leave, and we don't know what's going on with that. First off, there's a few questions here.
I got one.
What's your question?
What was B-Fab thinking? Like, what? Bobby's kind of like, look, I'm waiting for Jade Cargill. You can go. That's what I thought he was going to say. Like, what are you doing? Be fab. Okay. Sorry, what was your question? Sorry.
That's so mean. David.
Look, you're Bobby Lashley, right? No one's walked up to Bobby Lashley. He's a guy, he's built like a brick house. He has to track down his guy. He gets so mad at the Street Profits that when they don't achieve, and someone just slides in, be like, I want a meeting with you. And he goes, okay. Come out of nowhere. Okay.
Look, I was thinking the whole time I was thinking to myself, like, there's been a lot of changes for Hit Row, obviously. And I imagine Ashanti's like sitting there, like, I can imagine him talking to B-Fab and like he looks away for a second. He's like, anyways, B-Fab, I'm glad we got each other's back. We really need to stick together, right? B-Fab?
Right.
B-Fab. What? She left poor Ashanti high and dry.
Just peace out. We got beat up by Solo Sikoa a month ago. Is he still even back? Technically, I have no idea.
So I felt bad for, like, I felt bad for Ashanti. Yeah, he's just trying to be a good friend, and he's got left behind. Also, is this Hurt Business? Is this Street Profits? What do we call this group?
I don't know, because like I feel Hurt Business or Beatdown Clan, you need MVP in the mix, or Samoa Joe would be around, but you have Bianca and you have who's not there, and you have B-Fab who wants to be in it. I think a name should come, but right now it just seems like Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, which if you're watching the show last week, I still don't know if I'm on board because they're feuding with LWO, where it's like this low level like conflict where I don't really feel engaged with either one of them. So to answer your question, I hope a name comes soon. No idea what it is though.
We got the Hurt Profits.
Wow.
I was a big Street Business fan, but
Street Business. I don't know what a Street Profit is in this context.
I don't know what any of this is in this context, but they dress well.
Suburb Profit, yeah, they do.
So do you think B-Fab might be joining this group permanently, or is it just a Zelina Vega offset?
Well, I wanted to see what this means. I mean, I'm not sure if it's kind of like a managerial thing. I don't know if it's kind of like a situation where she wants to be an advisor. But yeah, I mean, B-Fab isn't doing anything. She's on the SmackDown roster. If someone said, look, find something for B-Fab, I'll go, okay, I put in this group because you can hide her. But at the same time, like, there's so many better options. I'm looking at, if it's not Jade Cargill, if she has other plans, great. But Bianca Belair and Montez are literally married and they have a show coming out. Why would you not put them together? And I'm not a guy who even advocates that kind of thing. It just makes more sense,
Do you think B-Fab joining, we'll call it the Hurt Business for now, do you think that means that it's less likely that Jade Cargill would be on SmackDown? Yes.
And that, even though people will compare Jade to Bianca to B-Fab because they're black women, let's be honest, let's call it how it is. I think the problem with B-Fab specifically is that now we know that they're not going to be a main event group. No offense to her, right? But when you take on new members, you really supposed to get excited about when it's joining. When you had Finn Balor taking over Judgment Day, you go, wow, former world champion. Now the Judgment Day is in a brand new chapter. B-Fab has been on the losing end of everything. The conflict that Hurt Business had at full strength against Legado del Fantasma, they lost that one. Got to the main roster, lost that one too. So if you take that on, you go, oh, that's your new weak link. No offense. So on wins and loss records, and that'll bring the whole group down.
Alicia A in the chat saying, yeah, I was expecting if they would get a woman, it would be Bianca. Does make sense. We'll have to see, though. Lots of stuff happening there. Speaking of getting a teammate, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green pick a fight with Shotzi, and they say Shotzi has no friends, so she can't find a partner. True, that's mean-hearted. And Shotzi's had many tag team partners.
She was staying by herself backstage. You had no friends.
What a jerk! That quickly. I mean,
you need glasses, all right?
I guess I do. Yeah,
I'm a jerk. Yeah.
So in any case, she finds a friend. She finds Charlotte Flair. This one's pretty quick, and Charlotte Flair gets the win for her team with a big boot. This one was this in the grand. My real thought with this, just to preface, this was just a fun thing to put on the show.
Yeah,
on a pre-tape thing. I don't take it very seriously, but this is a show where we pick nits and we dig into things a little deep here.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte winning to me. I look at this, I think you've got tag team champions that just took a loss in a tag team match.
Right.
They have a rivalry with Shotzi. Shotzi didn't get the win. It feels like everyone who's a part of this story came out not with a win, and the person who's completely uninvolved left with a win.
Yeah, that's part really that stuck in my craw. Like it felt like you hit the random button in WWE 2K, and I don't really know how Shotzi got Charlotte to do it. Were they like both fans of horror movies, or are they both like funfetti? No idea. But you're right. That's the one thing I was like, why would Charlotte care enough to get the pin? I get beating up people and saying you handle your business. I'm the queen. I don't do that. But her getting the pin goes, well, does Charlotte want tag team titles? Like, I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
And with Shotzi, I would assume it would be kind of a jerky move to earn a title shot with Shotzi and then be like, anyways, Natalya.
yeah, peace. My work here is done.
BFAB, you're used to leaving your friends high and dry. So yeah, I did like how Shotzi seems so excited to have Charlotte Flair as her partner, though. Like the whole time she was giddy. I feel like I don't know about anyone else. I feel like Shotzi was me if I got to tag team with Charlotte, just like excited and happy.
You probably do less work in the ring, to be honest with you. Charlotte, handle this. I would go get some smoothies.
I'd be like, I don't bump.
Wow. I politic, brother. I always go over though.
Not gonna work for me, brother.
if this was a match at a live event, I would have no questions or qualms. You know what I mean? It's just like the way it was now on TV. You go, wait a minute, why does that mean anything? What is the implications are for next week? But the match itself was great. That was fun. I enjoyed it. Hey, we got Chelsea Green and Piper Niven after having 3 appearances in a week. I mean, props to them for actually getting more screen time with the tag team championship. It's just an odd ending, you know.
Yeah, they definitely have been doing a good job of getting the tag team titles on TV and creating a lot of enemies. I just wish they started. We definitely need to get more consistent tag teams in that division. And I thought this was a chance to build one of those teams, but
who would you want to see then?
I mean, it's tough to say because I don't know who's on the shelf right now. But Scarlett and her have been doing stuff a lot together recently. So Scarlett and Shotzi seems like a slam dunk as a tag team.
Okay, well, I see that. I'm not sure if Scarlett. I mean, I know she wrestles, but I know has she ever wrestled inside the WWE house at all? I don't think so.
That's a good question.
I'm not really sure. But you're looking at people who are free on Friday nights. Just looking down this list here. Just Mia Yim is pretty much Mia Yim, Scarlett, Tamina, and Asuka, but I don't think Asuka's going to tag where she's got. Well, Asuka and Shotzi would be kind of scary to watch. I mean,
yeah, that would actually be kind of fun. Asuka and Shotzi. So who are the options? You said, let's see, there's Tamina, Asuka,
Mia Yim, Michin, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's BFAB, and then everyone's pretty much tied up. Bianca's doing other things, Dakota Sky.
In the chat, let me know who you would have liked to have seen Shotzi team with Mia Yim, Michin, or Scarlett, or
Asuka.
Tamina.
Yeah. Wow, Lego Brick Collector, the shade.
So Lego Brick Collector saying Scarlett. So we'll see. Everyone, let me know who you would have liked to see your tag team with. Again, I guess, like I said, with this kind of show, we go into it with adjusted expectations, and there's also the possibility of you need to have, like, if you're selling tickets to a pre-taped show, it's to say Charlotte will be in action is a big deal.
Yeah, you need something for that second or that third hour at that point for anyone.
Yeah. Chris saying literally anyone on the NXT roster.
Wow. So this is what we're talking about. Like, I understand because Jack and I pull back the curtain. We love NXT. We watch it every week. We're big NXT fans. You want to have these call ups.
Down south swag.
Down south swag. I make you fucking know. But if I'm going to a SmackDown,
never come down.
So much sass about neck movement, sir. He's from the hood of Tacoma, bro. What
me and Swerve from the same part of town.
I see that now. I see you and Swerve just hanging out at the local liquor store.
Yeah.
No, so you go to a SmackDown show, and you're not really savvy about the different brands. You're just you and your kid, and you're getting your little like Slurpee or whatever. If as much as I love them, if someone came out for the NXT roster, if Fallon Henley came out, I'd have been like, who is that? Not to drag Fallon, but without the promo package. I get why you would use Charlotte when you look at who's at the bench, but you did that and you made Charlotte the focus, and that's the mistake. It was like, well, John Cena will come out, but John Cena will roll out the ring and be like, you handle this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the difference.
Yeah, it's also like when you go to live shows, there's just certain people you want to see. I remember it's maybe 2 years ago now. I went to a SmackDown and they started right at the beginning saying Roman Reigns isn't here tonight. And I remember I was just devastated. Like, maybe devastated is a tough word, but you know what I mean? You're like, oh, that sucks. I don't get to see Roman Reigns. You know?
Get your refunds.
And so sometimes it's cool, even if it's just something like that, to be like, oh yeah, I saw Charlotte Flair. That's cool. You know, and it's one of those things you remember and you talk about like in the future, you know, like I still get to say, like, I saw Goldberg, you know, in a match once, or I saw,
did you?
I did. I saw him get his revenge win over Kevin Nash at Spring Stampede in the Tacoma Dome.
How old are you, Jack?
I am shockingly old.
Shockingly. Just you, Ric Flair, and Vince McMahon the entire
all three of us just sitting on a rock looking out over a valley of destruction right. After the end of the world.
Like Thanos.
Going, hell of a ride.
That's right, pal.
So yeah, it'll be woo, pal. Yes.
Wow, the world is over.
Oh man. Please leave us 5-star reviews. We have Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. They come out and sort of a reminder of where we at. Say it's the end of days for the Doctor of Thugonomics. Solo says he's told to hand the mic over to John Cena, and John Cena in a raspy voice says that Solo Sikoa is a discount Taz.
Wow.
This was, again, and I mean this with all due respect, felt a little bit like this is the go-home show. It's a pre-tape. Let's just remind everyone where we're at one last time.
True. But if I can give Cena his flowers or an honorary Slammy out of competition, last week he did a promo that was long, but it killed up a lot of time, 12 minutes. This week he did his voice to do the whole promo raspy and just totally cut open Solo in 90 seconds or less. I mean, the guy put in work without taking nary a headlock. I mean, this guy is the GOAT for a reason. Props to him.
John Cena really is incredible. And, you know, we talk about by the way, some of the discourse on Ric Flair, I want to circle back to that, was about how like, hey, you got to make time for younger people. And I get what people are saying, but maybe I've gotten to an age where I've seen some of my favorites retire and go away and you never get to see them again. And so I'm just a big believer in enjoy these people while they're here, you know, because you never know when it's the last time. And that's where I think John Cena, I'm just glad that he's been around long enough that people are starting to appreciate him, because a lot of people did not for a very long time.
True.
And anytime you get a chance to see John Cena and just appreciate him, because I don't think this is going to be his last match. I don't think he's retiring, but I think that they're starting to plant those seeds, because I don't think it's as far away as maybe some people think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is why people go to see Lionel Messi play in Miami. They're flying out to do it, because when you witness greatness, and I was never a John Cena hater. I went from being like a huge fan to being neutral. So I've never slipped into the hating John Cena thing, but you never appreciated it, because you say, okay, the 5 moves of doom, it's the same thing every week. But it really was a time in wrestling where we needed somebody to take the reins and be the face of the business during a very big down period. And I think that gets kind of obscured because people of a certain age are like Attitude Era fans. The new generation now are a lot more athletic, but Cena really carried the torch for a time where it wasn't cool to be a wrestling fan anymore. It was a great winter. Post Attitude Era. You know? It's like, you're like, are you a fan? Are you a fan? Okay.
Do you like wrestling? No, that's stupid. You're like, yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that's weird. It's true. Yeah, man.
Like, yeah, you'd see someone wearing like a shirt, like a wrestling shirt, and you'd be like,
oh.
No.
Yeah.
You throw up a quick like
too sweet. I was in Japan. Not the flex, but I was in Japan in September, and I saw a guy at a Japanese temple with a Bullet Club shirt, and I was like, "Temple!" He was like, "Yeah!" And we didn't speak a word of English or Japanese after that. That was just so cool.
Well, you saw it in Japan, so it was like a real Bullet Club shirt.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was like signed. Wasn't
a knockoff American Bullet Club shirt. So we got a Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly in an old school Donnybrook match. We got broken glass and tables. Pretty Deadly get the win. Flobo, why can't we have a contemporary postmodern Donnybrook match? Why is it always an old school Donnybrook match?
Well, because that's the best kind. I mean, the new contemporary ones are cheaply made and probably imported. I have no idea. What question is that, man? I want to see some old whiskey barrels in pool cues because that's what a Donnybrook is, man.
I can imagine. I'd like to imagine Rich Holland being like, "No, these aren't aged oak barrels."
It was rolling back.
I said as he throws it down at a plumber who's trying to climb up ladders to save his.
Why is Mario there?
Because he's throwing barrels.
Wow.
That's how old I am, folks.
Absolutely. But what about that slow motion punch from Butch? Right? Dude, that to me, I popped so hard. I don't
know how they timed that, or if that was just God's way of saying he's a wrestling fan and timing that perfectly, because that was absolutely perfect. The slow motion punch.
Yeah, man, that was great. I legit laughed like a minute and a half.
That's why and again, I think so many times wrestling fans take things too seriously, and these kind of bits I think are so fun in pro wrestling. And I know you are a big believer in wrestling having a little bit for everybody, and I want you to use this segment. Tell me about this segment, but also talk about how your thoughts on the variety aspect of pro wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. So we have, because I'm a big NXT UK fan. If you guys have not seen NXT UK, please go back. It's on Peacock. I watched some episodes just yesterday, and stuff does hold up. I liked about that brand because there was always elevated combat. They would hit hard, but there was always a winner and loser. But at the same time, the characters they developed was just over the top. You seem believable. Here's Pretty Deadly. You even though we don't know what they do in real life, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, I forget their old names, Stan Stoker and Louis Holloway, but those guys, you can see them listening to like Elton John in the car on the weekends with their 8-track tapes. I can see them going to the disco. And so when they have a fight, you're thinking, oh, these guys are going to be totally dandies about it. And that's the word they use to identify themselves. But what ended up happening was this hard-hitting affair where I thought Rich Holland killed these guys multiple times. At the end of it, it was a direct winner. So you can have humor, you can have comedy, you can have those hard-hitting spots, as the insiders call it. But at the end of the day, it's combat, even with a bit of humor in it. It was perfect.
Yeah, the Dandy Highwayman, they would always say. Nigel McGuinness would say that. And he was, I feel like you and we were big fans of NXT UK. And you, me, and about 15 other people.
Yeah.
But it was really one of my favorite wrestling shows to watch. Even on Twitter, if you tweeted about it, you'd always get fun responses. You didn't get the negative aspects of what you see with the IWC sometimes with the internet wrestling community. Everyone was like super supportive and into it. But I feel what I love about it is I feel like there's so many of them that have made such good moves in WWE since it was shut down. And it's kind of fun to be one of those guys, Flobo, where we get to say we knew Pretty Deadly were going to be the next big thing years ago.
I had it in my nose. I said, I was on the fence. I'll be honest. When they first came out, I was like, I don't get it. But you were all in from like match one. Like, these guys are hilarious. And I go, Jack, you're crazy. But the more you think about it, it's like the ones who were able to slip on banana peels or to get themselves in a classic old-fashioned Donnybrook match, those are the ones that headline WrestleMania. I'm just putting it out there.
They are, the thing about them, they're very New Day in a sense that they are able to like finish sentences and like work together, and they have like almost like I only ever see tag teams that are brothers that seem to have that kind of chemistry, but it's like they are two bodies with one mind, both in how they act together and how smart they are. But but it's very they're great, and everyone. I'm actually really glad to see this. We got a lot of yes boys and fire, and the gimmick is clever from Dion, and A lot of people say they really enjoyed this segment. I'm glad that they did, because I think that all 4 guys are really, really talented individuals that sometimes don't get the most desired spots on the shows, but always seem to make the most of their time and always entertain me like crazy.
I just want to say on the note for the Brawling Brutes, I know Sheamus is injured, but I would like to have a package or a little like drop in from Sheamus just to make sure he's still part of the group. You know what I mean? I think we've seen too many times that these two come out and go, they're great, but they always feel like a side character. I want Sheamus to be like, "Good job, boys," or "What the hell was that?"
Yeah. It'd be nice if he was around a little bit more, but I guess I don't know if his family is still in Ireland. If that's the case, then maybe it's like the one time he gets to stay extended at home. And in that case, yeah, let him have some time with the family.
Absolutely.
But how's it going, Arthur? Good to see you. Thanks for coming through. And
whoa, the King of the Sands?
The King of the Sands is there.
Holy crap, man. What's up,
good to see you. Don't get him angry, because he'll
hey, I'm praising him. Please get mad at Jeff.
How do you say when they throw the fireball? Mama Taya?
I'm not gonna mispronounce it and get a culture wrong. You want me to be exploded?
Too late. Thanks for stopping me. Alicia says, I love Pretty Deadly. They are amazing and their segments are gold.
Elton Strong.
Let's talk about a weigh-in that occurred.
No,
Flobo.
Let's not.
Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio, they weigh in. Logan Paul weighs 213 pounds. Rey Mysterio, 175. Logan Paul pats Rey's head. Rey Mysterio smacks Logan. They get separated. I was told it was mimicking a Misfits boxing weigh-in that happened recently, but I did not see that weigh-in, so I cannot comment. This was your favorite moment of the night.
Why you are a jerk. Why do you? Okay, so first of all, this is a kind of a personal vendetta I have against Logan Paul, because as somebody with no hair, you could tell Logan has had hair done when he covers it all strategically with his hat backwards and headband. I see right through it. You had FUE surgery. I know what it is. Look it up. But more importantly, what?
I did not know this. And Flobo,
he's got 2 hair transplants, and that's the reason why he wears a headband and a hat. Now, look it up. Look it up.
Really?
But the second problem.
I mean, I look. I have no problem with people getting do what you got to do. Like, if the time comes for me, I'm probably gonna do it. So I'm not gonna bury it now. I just didn't know. I like to be abreast of all this situation, Flo.
Oh yeah, man.
I did not know that was going on.
MTB knows it. Turkey's like the national capital of the world getting done. But that's the other problem I have about this, because same with way cheaper, man. You're paying like a third the price. Anyway, the problem I have with this is I'm not a big fan of contract signing because they seem formulaic, right? So now you do a contract signing backstage using a mechanic, a weigh-in, or something. We don't even bill weights anymore in professional wrestling. There are no weight classes. We don't even announce weights when people walk to the ring. So what is the point? It basically says Rey Mysterio will get slapped after this. That's exactly what happened with no recourse.
Yeah, that's what the thing that I get. It's a way to get us from point A to point B. It's a way to get us to show these guys and get them talking trash, and as opposed to just walking out and talking trash onto a microphone like they typically would. But I'm like, what's it matter with their weigh-in? There's no weight limits on the U.S. title, so the weight is irrelevant. And like you said, they don't announce the weights anymore when they do the entrances. So the weight is kind of inconsequential for this situation. It also felt weird with them doing it in that room that they did it in, like that we've never seen. How did you feel about the set, like in general? Maybe if you don't like this segment, but just the idea of this set for things like this.
It was kind of random because it only happened once, but I get it because a lot of UFC and boxing things are inside like the low ceiling media room with camera flashes or whatever. But it reminds me of, this is going to sound weird, the tag team Eminem. Remember them? Morrison and Mercury and Renina. Well, the whole thing was they had like paparazzi, but there were some weeks where it was like one guy with the camera. It was kind of sad to watch one dude like click, click, click. That's what it felt like. It was this whole thing, but no one was there to fill up the space. So that's why it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it felt weird. It felt like I'm glad they tried. I like it when wrestling tries new things, but this one, it just visually felt kind of weird. What are the odds that Logan Paul is actually 213 and Rey Mysterio is actually 175?
I think Logan's like 220 and Ray's like 168, but I'll say half, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. Rey Mysterio is a jacked fella if he weighs that much.
But he did keep a shirt on, and he almost kept the title around his shoulder. He had like, oh yeah, take this. So I could be lighter.
Here, take these rocks. I have in my pocket.
These bricks. That's right.
So we get to the main event: Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Earlier in the night, Bianca is attacked during an interview. So Nick Aldis says that Damage Control is banned from ringside. These two, they have great chemistry. They have a great match. But, of course, Bianca wins, and then Bianca puts Bayley through a table. Flobo, I've saved a little bit of time at the end here. I want you to tell me a little bit about what's going on with Bayley.
I wish I know. Of the 4 horsewomen, 5, if you count Asuka, Bayley's my favorite. And if you've been following me in my career for the past 4 or 5 years, I have gone to the window on the wall. The sweat had dropped down on the hall to tell how much I love Bayley. But it has just been too much. I understand. I said this last week as well. Dakota Kai can't wrestle. Io Sky is a champion, so someone has to eat pins to prove themselves as a threat. I knew Bianca was going to win tonight, but this is like the 4th week in a row that Bayley has lost a matchup? Like, I get it. And I know WWE has this weird thing where if you're good at what you do, if you're a workhorse, Dolph Ziggler, Chad Gable, you will lose a lot. But oh my goodness, throw Bayley a bone. Someone pick a fight with Bayley who was super weak backstage. Give her a win to make her seem a credible threat. Because now when Bayley's in the matchup, I go, oh. And I just go, this is a symptom of a bigger problem. And that is Damage Control is a group like the Riot Squad that are rebelling against no one in particular. They have nothing to do. I miss Ding Dong Hello. Can we get that back, please?
Yeah, it feels like Damage Control has kind of ran its course. And it's like, I feel like I don't think EO is doing anything that needs Bayley and Dakota Kai at this point. And I don't think Bayley needs Damage Control at this point. And I agree. I think because Bayley is really she's so good. Like, she's so good. And she's definitely starting to drift into that Dolph Ziggler category where we're like, yeah, you're great. Yeah, you once won a lot, but now I do not think you're dangerous at all. And that is a very bad place for someone who is as talented as Bayley to be.
Absolutely. Natalya as well. I mean, you could put Natalya with anyone and she'll draw the best out of them, which is great, but no one believes Natalya's going to win a match of merit ever.
Well, I think that's where Natty's been there for a little bit now. I don't know if you're going to get her out of it. Where Bayley, I think you can still save. I think.
Can we? Does anything about Dana Brooke when she moved brands, but she didn't.
So we'll have to see. It was a good matchup, and I mean, I get Bianca getting the win here.
Oh, yeah.
You need her to look strong going into a title match, so it makes sense. But yeah, as a Bayley fan, I would like her to have a bit of a story of her own without. I don't think I feel like Damage Control. I don't know about you. Damage Control for me never really set in. Like, it never really felt like it landed. And now that it's been around for a while, I feel like you have all the room in the world to just drift it away.
Sure. And I'm with you, because when Damage Control debuted, flex, I was there, y'all. It felt like, oh my gosh, here's the call-ups, here's a gauntlet, here's going to be a new group. But factions are only good when they face other factions or they can really all dominate on the microphone. Judgment Day was hot for a while because he did that. But then he kind of went to the well once too often. They were only on 5 shows. I mean, I think they went to my last week's church service. They're everywhere. But the thing about Damage Control is there's no one to fight them. No one. Like, there's always like one person, and it gets to be very lame, very kind of flat, like the Riot Squad when they were peak.
What kind of church do you go to?
Flobotarian. I don't know.
The priest up front is like, everyone rise
again.
Yeah, so I thought it was a overall good episode. We are going to do some crown jewel predictions, and I need everyone in the chat to join along with us. So as we go through these, let us know who your prediction is to win this one, to win each match. If you're watching later, leave your predictions in the comment section. Let us know what you think. We're going to try to get through these kind of quick because we are almost to our hour. Starting kickoff match. This one's going to be tough to call. I can't wait to see what you say. Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. Who do you got winning?
If it was during the main card, I would say JD McDonough, but because it's the pre-show to get everyone warmed up, it has to be Sami Zayn. Oh, FTB gets it. Yeah, that's what's up. Sami Zayn, the runaway.
Yes. So Sami Zayn, yeah, I think Sami Zayn. So, there's not really a whole lot to really add to that one. I think everyone else is saying Sami Zayn also. We got a lively chat here. You guys are great. So next we got, speaking of Judgment Day being everywhere, man, everyone is by the way, Secular Belt saying Ric Flair will be headlining AEW all around. That's, I wish. Yes. Secular Belt, where were you an hour ago when we were trying to come up with alternative AEW name?
All around.
So Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Flobo, I would say 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say Cody Rhodes is going to win this one, and might still win. But I got a feeling that Damian Priest is really getting lined up for a title shot, and I think they're going to want him to come in looking good. So by hook or by crook, I'm going Damian Priest.
I'm disagreeing with you, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I do think Cody Rhodes has to get the win here to finish that story, to put his ship right, give him some momentum. Just because you lost doesn't mean he's no longer senior in the bank, if you know what I'm saying.
That is a good point. And it looks like this one, the crowd is actually split on this one.
Cody shenanigans? What's that?
Cody with shenanigans. It's similar to the Donnybrook.
Oh, okay.
And all the other Irish sounding words.
Malarkey.
So we got Mr. X saying Cody Rhodes with slight help from Jay. But yeah, pretty split down the middle. That's always Beer Money saying Jay help. So pretty interesting. Rey Mysterio trying to look to defend that United States Championship from Logan Paul. Do you think Logan Paul gets it done, or do we keep Rey Mysterio as champ?
Talk about people at the point of careers where everything seems transitional, right? I don't doubt Rey can win this match, but I feel like the right decision is for Logan Paul to really find Rey's weak spot and exploit that. Because once you have a United States champion who's as famous as Logan Paul, that prints money. So Logan all day. Yeah,
I gotta go with you, and it looks like the chat agrees as well.
2-time transplant Logan Paul.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but is Abibnov Dutta says Logan for the win. And I got to agree. I think Logan Paul mostly 2 reasons. One, like we said before, it feels like Kevin Owens is getting geared up for a U.S. title shot, and I think Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul just sounds nicer than Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio. Plus, Logan Paul has lost like so many matches. He needs to start getting some wins back. And I have a feeling that they're going to. So we'll have to. I think I'm with everyone else. I think it's going to be Logan Paul. We move on. WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. I think it's Bianca Belair's time. I think she's going to win it, and I think she's going to beat Io Sky, and this could be the end of Damage Control.
I don't want to say I'm tired of Bianca, because I'm not. But it definitely becomes a situation where if Bianca wins this title again, how is this title run going to be different? How is it going to feel different? She didn't really come back with a lot of weeks between her return and this one. I think Io Sky retains here.
So we got, Io in the chat. Io needs to retain. WWE needs Io to keep it. Lots of people saying Io. Lego Brick Collector saying Io, please, and Kyrie returns. Kyrie returning is quite a rumor that's been circulating. I haven't seen who reported it yet, though, so I'm not.
Can she be a pirate again? I miss those days.
Man, I feel like this is. You want to know what type of? You know what type of wrestling fan I am. I feel like one of the things that was really stolen from us a few years back is the Sky Pirates WrestleMania entrance. That's what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling that would have been incredible. I dream about what that would have looked like. I hope we get the chance to see that someday.
Best level drop in the business.
Oh, it's so good. But I'm going Bianca. And everyone else says EO. So I'm not keeping track. So I won't know if everyone else got it right. We have the 5-way for the women's championship here. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark versus Raquel Rodriguez. Flobo, you only got a 20% chance of getting it right.
As much as I like the fact that this can like really hurt Rhea Ripley's chances, I think the person that takes Rhea Ripley down will be a one-on-one contest. We haven't really seen people in multiple person matches get championships that way in a long time. I think Rhea Ripley retains.
I'm going with Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax has been squashing everybody, as she likes to say. Everyone in the chat, by the way, says Rhea. They are.
Here's a question though.
On your side.
Do you think Rhea, if you want Nia Jax to win, and she does, is Rhea Ripley involved in the decision?
Whoa! I did not say I want her to win. I'm saying that's
okay, but is Rhea involved in the decision? Do you think?
No.
Okay, so Nia pinned somebody else.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I think Nia is going to pin Zoe Stark.
Wow. Okay, that's an add-on bet. That's a side bet.
That was just a pick, random, throwing a dart at the wall. That's the name of it.
Well, it's not really a bet if there's no wages, but you know what I'm saying.
But I do think I think that Nia
I say that weekly. Jack, what? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
I think that Nia's gonna win, and this will be that.
Wow.
That she takes the whole thing. Beer Money says Nia takes the whole thing. That's fantastic.
That's a comment to live for.
Beer Money quote of the night there. But I think that this allows Rhea Ripley to not be the champion, allows her to focus on Judgment Day business, and then doesn't take anything from her by having her get pinned either. So that's kind of what I expect,
I guess.
So we move on here, but everyone agrees with you. But we move on to John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. I go John Cena here. I feel like this is a slam dunk John Cena win.
Yeah, send the fans home happy. You know, you don't want to see Solo Sikoa taking so many losses, but I will say that AA on Solo will hit different just based on how that Cena has solely attacked the last couple of weeks.
I think that this is going to be one of those ones where Solo, a phrase that Jimmy Corderas likes to use is get over without going over. And I feel like that's going to be Solo Sikoa. I think he's going to kick out of a bunch. I think he's going to beat the heck out of John Cena.
Oh, don't let the heck out of John Cena.
The heck, the HECK. John Cena. And but I think John Cena does get the win. And probably gets a rematch with Roman Reigns at like Survivor Series or something like that. So I think that's what's going to happen there. Everyone else seems to say John Cena.
Well, Julian Floyd is like, Jack, what?
Well, we got watch your mouth, Jack. Alicia saying no.
Yikes.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But we get the world title match. This is the one that I'm actually most interested in on the card. Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew freaking McIntyre. Flobo Boyce. Who's winning?
Damian Priest.
Well, do you think he's going to cash in before the pinfall?
I think so.
So he'll make it a 3-way like the heist of the century and then win that.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. No, I do think that when it comes to the pinfall, Drew McIntyre gets the pinfall because, Drew McIntyre got the Seth Rollins to give him all in his bag, gave out, and that. But when it comes to who's walking with the title, it's going to be Damian Priest.
So, we got Lego Brick saying Seth Rollins. Beer Money says Drew needs to win or lose with shenanigans. Mr. X says Seth. Alicia said, I said, watch your mouth because you said beat the heck out of him.
Language.
Sorry. H-E-C-K. I'll spell it next time. beat the heck out of him.
Get canceled YouTube.
I was saying, Drew. So I think you and I are kind of in similar spots on here because you're saying cash-in happens after the match and Damian wins. This is my prediction. I said it on Monday. This is overbooking Jack, by the way. I think that Drew McIntyre gets the win. Damian Priest comes to cash in. Judgment Day helps Drew McIntyre fight off Damian Priest. They kick Damian Priest out, and Drew McIntyre is now the leader of Judgment Day.
But Judgment Day has a leader.
They will, and he wears a kilt.
That is overbooking.
Black leather kilt.
Okay, that means
sounds
he's evil
very
for sure.
Judgment Day.
It's not. Yeah, that's very evil. But Drew McIntyre and Judgment Day would officially kill it. Because here's the problem with Judgment Day. It is pretty much a zombie faction, much like Damage Control. Not really fight anybody. The Bloodline Alliance lasts for a week. If Drew adds on, it'd be like, okay, party's over. Someone call the cops. Wrap it up. Like it would be like the womp womp womp.
What if they called it the Drugement Day?
Stop! I hate dad jokes. You know I hate those. Well, AEW all around is cool, but everything
else. So we get to the main event. Roman Reigns versus LA Knight. I think everyone's saying Roman Reigns is winning this one. Do you have anything spicy to add?
I say because I do think there's a new world heavyweight champion that Roman retains, and it's not a bad thing of LA Knight. He will be getting over. I do think the modern way of wrestling now in WWE land is that challenger has a matchup and they lose. And then when they have that second one, Cody's in that situation. So with LA Knight, they have a bad chance of winning. So I do think LA Knight comes up short, but I don't think it'd be a bad squash. He's not going to get smashed. By the way, Roman Reigns, when you say you're smashing dudes, I'm just a whole other context I'm thinking of. So don't do that to out loud. But I do think Roman Reigns gets a dub this week.
I think the same thing when he says smashed, and it makes me like it even more.
What the heck are you talking about? We're canceled.
Because he's like, I'm gonna smash you, and I feel like, as a ghost, I go like, do you know what that means?
No one pull them aside. Hey, bro, like when you said you stack them and then pin them and then smash them, that's just
I'm gonna stack them and smash them. I'm like, that's my. I say I'm old, but I still have a middle school like sense of humor. So I'm like,
not going away, man. It's never going away. Jack, what exactly?
So that's the show. That does it for us. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Again, we don't get to work together much on Wrestling Inc. So comment in the comment section, even if you've been in the chat, just say we love Jack and Flobo. That's always helpful. 5-star reviews with our names in the comments is super helpful. Definitely would appreciate all that. Before we go, everyone in the chat, let us know what you thought of the show tonight in the chat. And Flobo, final thoughts, and where can the world find you online?
And if you have watched the end of this video, make sure you put #PottyMouthJack in the comments below. But you can find me on that X at Flobo Boyce. Come say hello. I talk about wrestling and baseball and hockey all year round because I have no life. Hey.
Well, you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media to find the stuff I'm working on. I'm going to be doing commentary for Santino Bros Fight Night 10 on November 26th. Nice. Excuse me. And it sounds like I might be doing commentary. Might be joining my old pal Flobo for an event in December 7th. We're doing Influencer Fight League together, from what I understand.
Influencer Fight League 7. Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, we're going to be flying out to Miami to call some influencer fights. So that'll be fun. You'll be able to check that out, I believe, on Fight TV. I'll probably have more information for that down the road. But for now, everyone, again, thank you so much. Follow at Wrestling Inc. for all the wrestling news. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, be a potty mouth.